except where them hands, where them holes, where them throws, you know what I'm saying? Cecil.
This is why I train in martial arts.
After having this conversation with some of my students and actually my wife too, I've decided to make this video. I guess I'm going to call it The Problem is That You're Normal. And what I mean by that is sometimes some of the problems people have with martial arts, especially in terms of either sparring or learning the self defense aspects of a martial art, the problem that you have with the technique is that you're normal. You don't like hitting people. And like the thing that brought up this conversation, I was showing some beginners how to get out of a basic choke. Just me taking my hands and I go to put them around your neck. Escape that you do if I get my hands around your neck. Another escape that you do if I don't get my hands around your neck. And I told them before we started, I said, all right, I went to my bag, rinsed it off, stuck in my mouthpiece. I said, okay, you guys are beginners. Okay, let's go. They go, oh, no, we're not going to hurt you, Mr. Cecil. We're not going to hurt you. There's always one. In this case, it was two. I go to fifth for the choke. Boom. I got to, whoa, lean back. That fist is coming. They're going to try to knock my head off or knock my teeth out as soon as my hands touch their throat. They swinging. Usually it's one well-aimed punch right at the face. A lot of times they just start swinging wild. Well, then they go, oh, I'm sorry. I was like, well, no. You're normal. That is what I would expect you to do if somebody is trying to choke you. I would expect you to try to knock their head off if somebody's trying to choke you. I know that I'm a big man and you don't know me, and here's some big man trying to put his hands around your throat. Of course you're going to go off. It's because you're not a psychopath. So let me prove it to you here right from Google. This is actually from the Medical News Daily articles. Psychopaths may not be able to understand when another person is afraid. They also appear to have a high threshold for disgust, which makes it more difficult for them to be repulsed by unethical activities. Anger and violence are often associated with the condition. Excuse me. I also argue that psychopaths have a high threshold and tolerance for aggression and violence. Not only that, some of us who are not psychopaths, but who have had to deal with just messed up people, I know I have a high threshold for aggression and violence and for disgust. So, this is a conversation I had with I'll just say with someone else. I consider this person to be a friend, even though we ain't all that tight. I consider this person to be a friend. And I told that friend, because the friend was like, well, I didn't see you getting upset and scared. And I was like, look, I'm not going to give you my entire backstory, and I didn't, and I'm not going to do it here. But you are not supposed to be comfortable being around people that are dangerous like that. Yeah, I can do it, but that's because I have a very high tolerance for things that are not necessarily kosher for danger. I mean, sad backstory aside, I did join the Marine Corps. You don't make it out of Marine Corps boot camp if you can't develop a high threshold for disgust, aggression, and violence. They're not gonna let you out of boot camp. Okay, I didn't even see combat, but they're not gonna let you out of boot camp for the Marine Corps if you don't develop that. Because if you're training somebody for combat, don't you think they need to have a high threshold for disgust, aggression, and violence? You may not want them to be a psychopath, but they cannot be so tender of a snowflake that they can't hang around with danger. So I told her that. You cannot, So I tell anybody, don't go by what coworker Cecil, instructor Mr. Cecil your homie. Just because Cecil's putting up with it, that don't mean you need to be able to put up with it. Because Cecil has a high threshold for disgust, aggression, and violence. And you don't. And one benefit is that I think it helps me be able to defend myself, and it makes it easier for me to learn martial arts. But it will get in the way of the average person. So keep that in mind. And that's okay because guess what? You're not. You are not a psychopath.